a prophet or a messenger like others that may have come before them. And we hear of people coming to this world as avatars, and these avatars have different duties and powers, and there's said to be 6 different types of avatars. There's Nit, Nimit, Kala, Ansa, Avesha, and Puran. These are the 6 types of avatars. And if we compare Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji to any of these avatars that have come under these different 6 categories, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is Vishesh to all of them. And we're not going to go into it too much because just to keep in terms of focus on Japji Sahib Di Bani, but when people compare avatars, when they weigh up and they look at the qualities of avatars, there's 5 kind of standards that are used to compare avatars. And Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, if compared to any of these avatars that come with certain amount of kala and certain amount of shaktiyan, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is Vishesh and different to all. Because Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji came to the world in human form, but then lived within the kind of the restrictions, let's say, of being a human. Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji didn't come to the world as a human and then constantly show subhuman or superhuman qualities. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji showed us how to practically live a life to become one with the Shabad, to emerge in the Shabad, so we can join back with Akal Purkh Waheguru. So when Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji goes into the Vei Nadi and they're gone for a number of days, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji at that point, the Sargun, so the form, the physical form of Akal Purkh Waheguru, was Hajar, was Sanmukh in front of the non-physical, the Nirgun form of Akal Purkh Waheguru. And it said at that point, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji hears Japji Sahib, is given Japji Sahib as the Mala Mantra for the Gursikhs. And if we go through, as we go through Mool Mantra this week, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji blesses us with the Bij Mantra, which is Ik Oankar. And then they bless us with the Gur Mantra, which is Vaheguru, and then Maha Mantra up to Gur Prasad, Mool Mantra up to Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. Some people have different vichar on the length of Mool Mantra, but the key thing is not to fall out over it. It's nothing that deep. The key, the hukam of whether we believe it up to Gur Prasad or Nanak Hosi Pi Sach is actually to recite it. Recite it so much that it becomes part of our Jivan, and our Jivan becomes part of the path of Mool Mantra. So not to sit and just fall out over it, but there is different vichar. And then the whole of Japji Sahib is known as Mala Mantra. So it's known that one Japji Sahib is the same as doing a job of 108 manke of a Mala. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji blesses us with this Bani of Sri Japji Sahib, and it is known, referred to as the Mala Mantra, like I said. And Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, when they were Sanmukh of Akal Purkh Waheguru, Akal Purkh Waheguru recites the Mool Mantra up to Gur Prasad, it said, and then Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji says, Jap Aad Sach Jugaad Sach Hai Pi Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji then comes out of the Vei Nadi, they start to do prachar of that mantra, of that Mool Mantra, and they start to then go off on the Udasiyan. And we all know then how Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji went around the whole world taring people. And as they went, like we said, Sri Japji Sahib was then ucharaned as they went and they met the Siddhs in different places. Then it was actually Bhai Lehna Ji, who then becomes Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji, who formally put Japji Sahib into the order of the Paudiyaan as it is now and compiled it into that form where it is then completed as Japji Sahib Di Bani. So when Bhai Lehna Ji was actually asked that by some Brahmins, that what is your Bij Mantra? And he said, Ik Oankar. What is your Maha Mantra? And he said, what is your Mool Mantra? He explained that. They said, what is your Gur Mantra? And he said, it's Vaheguru. And then when Bhai Lehna Ji is asked, what is your Mala Mantra? So at that point, Bhai Lehna Ji says, I'm not sure, I've never asked that. I will ask. And that's when Guru Nanak Dev Ji was asked by Bhai Lehna Ji, what is our Mala Mantra? And Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji then said that the Mala Mantra is Sri Japji Sahib. And Japji Sahib is described as being, if Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is, if we use the analogy of a tree, so the roots is the Bij Mantra, the seed is Ik Oankar, and then the Mool Mantra is the roots within the ground, and then the trunk of the tree that everything else relies upon, that is the the thing that everything is the basis, is the strength of that tree, would be seen as Japji Sahib, and then all of the branches and the leaves and everything, all the fal that come off of that tree, is the rest of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Bani. That core of the tree, the trunk of the tree is that strength of that. And in the same way, if we make Japji Sahib a strength within our Jivan, within our Nitnem, then Sadhguru Sahib Ji will bless us with countless fruits. And if we look to the history of Gursikhs, of Itihas, there's so many Sakhiyan that relate to the greatness of Japji Sahib and the importance of reciting Japji Sahib. Whether we look to the times of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and we hear the Sakhi of Bhai Gopala Ji, Sadhguru Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, Miri Piri de Malik, asked Gursikhs one day, they said, is there a Gursikh who can sna us, who can ucharan Sri Japji Sahib purely Shuddh with all of the Lagamatr, so exactly how it should be pronounced? In Ain and Ras Raske, can anyone sanaz that Bani? And Bhai Gopala Ji comes forth and he says that I can attempt to do so, Guru Sahib, if you bless us to do so. Sadhguru Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji sat on their takht, and Bhai Gopala Ji then sits on a takht as well and recites the Bani Sri Japji Sahib. And they start reading Ik Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh, and as they go, they read all of Japji Sahib. They're getting towards the end. And Manchit Birti Ekagar Karke. And Bhai Gopala Ji, knowing the Sabha, knowing the nature of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, thinks in his mind that if Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, that if Guru Sahib is pleased upon my reading of Japji Sahib, Guru Sahib will surely offer me something, they will give me something. So he gets a thought of a desire in his mind. And in his mind he thinks Guru Sahib had just been given some new horses, and they had been given some new katiyas, some new saddles to put on those horses, very, very expensive ones, and very expensive horses. Because this was as Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, after the Shahidi of Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji had given hukam for all Gursikhs to come with horses, with Shastar, and with Jawan Puttar to come and sign up and join Akal Sena, as the forge was known at the time. And Sadhguru Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, as the Japji Sahib comes to an end, and Bhai Gopala Ji reads the slok and then finishes Japji Sahib, Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji says to him that they were very, very pleased that during reading that Japji Sahib they had complete bliss. And Guru Sahib said they actually started to get up and they were ready to give Bhai Gopala Ji the Gurta Gaddi, because they said that a Gursikh had read Japji Sahib in such a great manner, so Shuddh, that they would give them the Gurta Gaddi. But because Bhai Gopala Ji had an itcha in his mind for the horses, Guru Sahib then gives that. Because Satguru Sahib Ji's Gurbani also tells us that those that read Bani, they receive whatever their desires are. Sadhguru Sahib Ji in Gurbani again and again says things like Jo Ichha Soi Phal Pave, Sadh ke sang na birtha jave. That by coming to the Sadh Sangha and reciting Gurbani, whatever one desires, whatever fruits, whatever fal someone wants, whatever that desire is, that is fulfilled. So if we come to the sanctuary of Sadhguru Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and we come because we've got some worldly pains, and we do ardas for that, and sometimes we might think, should we do that? But this is the one place that we come and ask for whatever. But whatever we ask for is what we will get. And those that come and ask for their pains to be taken away, they are taken away. Those that might be struggling for money or jobs, they will come, they'll do ardas, and they will be given that if it's in the will of Akal Purkh Waheguru. But what we should also try and come and ask Sadhguru Sahib Ji, where Sadhguru Sahib Ji in Gurbani describes or tells us what we should be asking for. Raj na chahum mukt na chahum man preet charan kamalari. That actually when we come to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, if we accept that we don't want Raj, and from Raj it doesn't necessarily just have to mean that we want to become a king, a Raja. Within Raj you can take anything that is worldly or Maya, because Raja are Mayatari people. And if we come and our birti, our itcha, our desires are all based around monetary things or things that we think give us long-term sukh, within that we can very easily forget the name of Akal Purkh Waheguru. Raj na chahum, mukt na chahum. And then mukti means liberation. You might think, well, why would you not want to come and ask for liberation? But even asking for liberation, it's a desire, and within that desire, then there's different types of liberation, there's different types of muktiyan, it's said to be that there's 4 types of Vaikunthiyan, Muktiyan, Salok, Sarup, Sameep, and Sujuj. And then separate to that, or further to that, then there's Keval Mukti. But Sadhguru Sahib Ji says, what should we ask for when we come to the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji? Man Preet Charan Kamalare. That we have preeti, we have love for the Charan Kamal of Akal Purkh Vaheguru of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And those Charan Kamal, what are the lotus feet? Sadhguru Sahib Ji in Gurbani again and again describe this longing for the lotus feet of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. What are the lotus feet of Akal Purkh Vaheguru? Sadhguru Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji in Jab Sahib tell us, Chitta Charan Naam, that the name of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, Gurbani, and the Guru's name, Mantar, is the Charan of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. So to have the feet of Akal Purkh Vaheguru reside within us, or to contemplate on the feet of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, one should contemplate upon Gurbani and up on the name of Akal Purkh Vaheguru in Vaheguru Mantra. So Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji comes to the world and they bless us with this Bani, this Mala Mantra of Sri Japji Sahib. And if we look in Pratan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Sroops, where Japji Sahib is written, it's in the Tatkara, in the what you could call like a contents, it's described as, or the Bani is written as Japanisan. So that is what Pratan Gursikhs would have called it. Now we call it Japji Sahib, because coming from where Sadhguru Sahib Ji gives us the hukam to Jap, to recite. And that's where the Bani gets its name from. And the Bani itself is said to be a Bani that blesses us with Brahm Gyan. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji blesses us through this Bani, one that reads the Bani, recites the Bani, listens to it, and then implements it within their life. They can reach an avastha of becoming one with Akal Purkh Vaheguru and getting Gyan, knowledge of Brahm, of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. So it is referred to as the Data of Brahm Gyan through Japji Sahib. Japji Sahib itself comes right at the start of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, like we said, and it comes before the Rag start. So it's known as Rag Mukt Bani. Sri Japji Sahib is not written in one particular Rag. It is said, though, that if you were to read it in Rag, it would go with Asa Rag, which is a Rag that is read at Amrit Vela. However, Japji Sahib Di Bani, just like all Bani, can be read at any time of the day, and obviously is given as one of the Panj Baniya in our Nityanem. So in the daily prayers of a Gursikh in the morning, it's the first Bani that we do. When we are blessed with Khande Bhatti, the Amrit, it's the first Bani that is read. When a child is born in the house of a Gursikh, the first Bani that they would hear is Japji Sahib when the Amrit Di Gurti is prepared. So when a child is born and we do a Janam Sanskar, you take a small bata, you put a bit of jal in it, some patasse, some sugar crystals, and with a kirpan you mix that and you read Japji Sahib. And then from the nok, from the end of the kirpan, the amrit, the gurti is put into the baby's mouth, the rest is given to the mother. It's part of our initiation ceremony. All the way through to then, the day that we die and our body is being prepared for the funeral, people will recite Japji Sahib. Japji Sahib's part is done when the chikha, when the funeral pyre is prepared, and then Kirtan Soila is started once the body or the pyre is half burnt. So it's one of the last Baniya that we hear as well on our worldly journey. So it's a Bani that is with us throughout. And Sadhguru Sahib Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji has blessed us with this Gurbani. Bhai Sahib Bhai Santokh Singh Ji, Kaviraj Santokh Singh Ji, who is the Lekak of Sri Gur Pratap Suraj Granth. In Suraj Prakash, they actually describe in Nanak Prakash, they say that a Gursikh who does not know Japji Sahib Kant is like that person, is like the shell of rice. So when rice is harvested from the fields, it is covered in like a brown shell. And those brown shells are then opened up and the rice is then taken out of those. And that's known as fak in Punjabi, just that brown shell. And if by Kaviraj Santokh Singh Ji says that a Gursikh who does not have Japji Sahib Kant is like that fak of the chawl. That when you open it, it's just the shell and it's not actually got rice, it's not got a dana of rice in it, i.e. it's a waste. So if you look like a Gursikh from the outside, but on the inside we haven't got Japji Sahib Kant, Bhai Kavi Santokh Singh Ji says that it's almost pointless, that we should at least, if we're going to get any or start with getting Bani Kant, that we should try and memorize Japji Sahib. Because if we have Japji Sahib Kant memorized, it means we can recite Japji Sahib wherever we are, whatever's going on. So we have that then ability to be able to recite Japji Sahib. So Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji blesses with this Bani. Like I said, there's countless Sakhiyan linked to the Bani, the greatness of the Bani, of how Gursikhs over time read this Bani again and again. And we will reflect on different Sakhiyan as the weeks go on, and we will listen to how the Siddhs, who were learned spiritual people of the time, who practiced Yogmat under Gorakhnath and other kind of leaders of their Panth. And as they speak with Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji and they converse, they constantly keep trying to get Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, first being amazed at their knowledge. And they used to call Guru Nanak Balak or Bala, and that's referred to, recorded by Bhai Gurdas Ji, that the Siddhs would call Guru Nanak Dev Ji Bala, meaning child, because they were of such old ages, because they had mastered Jogmat, where they could chara their swas, their breath into the Dasamdar, and all sorts of these other kind of mystical, superhuman powers. And they would use them to constantly try and impress Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji about the greatness of their Panth. But again and again, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji impresses them with their wisdom, with their gyan, and with the Bani that they bless us with. So Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji blesses us with this Bani. So we'll start the vichar of Sri Japji Sahib, and just Jistana Sadguru Sahib Ji Kirpa Karan, that we get some understanding of the Bani of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. So Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, in the start of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, at the start of Japji Sahib, at the start of Mool Mantra, they start with the numerical form written of Ik. So Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji does not start Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji by writing the word Ik. Now the rest of the Gurbani is written in words, but here at the start Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji uses the numerical form of 1. And that is very, very significant, because if Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji here had written Ik, just like we may spell it, so with Edi Sihari Kakka or Kakke Nu Onkar, Ik, that could then be taken to mean many different things. Because when Vidvans do Arth, Vidvans, when there's any letters formed, they would break down, there's 6 or 7 different ways of doing Arth on a basic level. And they do Arth where Gurbani obviously would be written Ladivar originally. So you'd have a whole Pankti that is written all joined up. And where you can do the Arth of the Pankti going forwards, so from the start to the end, you can do Arth of a Pankti then going backwards as well, which is called Aname Karke. And then you can do other ways like Dand Andave Karke, where you break up the words differently. Or then you break up each individual word. So if Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji at the start of Japji Sahib had written the letter format, so the word Ik, as in Edi Sihari Kakka, then Vedavans would have started to make more than one Arth of the word Ik. But Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji writes the numerical form of Ik, because Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is giving the message that there is only Ik. Ik Advait Srup Parameswar. Advait means one that has no opposition. So there is no other that is the same as Akal Purakh Vaheguru. So there's completely no duality. Now, other religions may say that they are monotheistic and they believe in one God, but what they also sometimes then portray or preach is that opposite to God, there is someone else that holds a similar or the same amount of Shakti, i.e. a devil or some kind of demon, that is then almost in competition with God, and God is trying to take people to the good, and this devil or demon is taking people, or shaitan or whatever it may be called in different religions, is taking them away. So it's a competition between Rab, Parmeswar and this other. But Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji at the start of Japji Sahib, at the start of Gurbani, gives us the numerical form of Ik, that there is only one Akal Purakh Vaheguru. That Akal Purakh Vaheguru is that one. Oankar is the one who allows all to exist. Oankar meaning the one that is the creator, the sustainer, the nourisher, the one who then not only creates us and brings us into existence, looks after us and nourishes us through our existence, and then is the one that is able to deliver us or take us on to the next part of this journey, which actually exceeds or goes further than this physical body. The Akal Purakh Waheguru is that one that takes us through that journey, that they are the one who creates everything. So there is only one Akal Purakh Waheguru. There is no other opposite or the same or barabar to Akal Purakh Waheguru. There is Ek Advait Roop Parameshwar. There is only one. And Oankar, Akal Purakh Waheguru, is the Prakashak of everything. And in different mats, so in like Sanatana Mat, they would believe that Brahma creates, then Vishnu looks after, and then they destroyed, and that kind of cycle. But Sadhguru Sahib says that all of these different creative Shaktiyan beings, whatever, they are all created by Akal Purakh Waheguru. There is only one. And there's one Akal Purakh Waheguru who is the creator of all. And Sadhguru Sahib Ji in Dakhni Oankar Gurbani, they bless us where they tell us that Oankar Brahma Utpat, that when the whole of the Srishti, when the whole of creation was started, it was actually started with the Tuni of Oankar. So that creative energy came out in the form of the sound of the Tuni of Oankar. The Ek Oankar, the Akal Purakh Waheguru, through their creative energy, through the sound, the Tuni of Oankar, started the whole of creation. And there is only one Akal Purakh Waheguru. He has no opposition and is the creator of all. And then Sadhguru Sahib's name, the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru is also true. That the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru is the truth, is the form of the truth in this world. Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji has come to the world the form of Akal Purakh Waheguru. Aap Narayan Kalata Har Jag Meh Parvareo. That Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is the form of Narayan of Akal Purakh Waheguru. And they've come to the world through the Shabad. They give us the Shabad to join with Akal Purakh Waheguru. And at the start when we were saying about these different avatars that may have come and when they've come to the world, one thing that has been part of the Maryada or the way of the world is that anyone that comes, when they're going to go out on a sense of going and traveling and preaching, they will first always have to tar a guru. They would have to accept a guru before they're given a mantra that they can jap and become one with Akal Purakh Waheguru from. But Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji comes to the world and they don't have a guru. They don't tar a guru in the formal sense actually until they matha take to Pai Lena Ji and give them the Gurta Gaddi. So it's only at that point they bow to someone as their guru. But Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji doesn't need a guru because they are Saipang. They are part of that creative Shakti of Akal Purakh Waheguru who is self-illuminating and come themselves. But Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, when asked by the Siddhs, so like we said, Japji Sahib is this charcha, this conversation with the Siddhs, but the Siddhs had many conversations with Sadhguru Sahib Ji. And in Siddh Gosht, Sadhguru Sahib Ji is telling Gorakhnath and the Siddhs when they're asking that who is your Guru, whose Chela are you? Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji attributes the Shabad as being their Guru. Sabad Guru, Surat Tun Chela. That Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, from the start of their coming to the world and starting this panth, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji says that their Guru is the Shabad. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji brings that name in the form of the Shabad of Akal Purakh Waheguru, that is the truth, to deliver us, to deliver to us, which can then deliver us back to Akal Purakh Waheguru. So Akal Purakh Waheguru's name is truth. And through reciting the name and the naam of Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Gurbani and Waheguru Mantra, Sadhguru Sahib Ji says that we can reach a place of Na Mo. On the Mamma, there's an Onkar meaning Mo, meaning more. That the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru breaks us free from the bondages of more of attachment within this world.
Karta Purkha.
The Akal Purakh Waheguru is the creator, is the one that creates everything, is the form of creation. Purkh is the one who protects us from the afterlife, the angels of death, from the narkas. The Akal Purakh Waheguru is the protector of us as well. The Akal Purakh Waheguru has no fear. The reason why Akal Purakh Waheguru has no fear because they have no one opposite to them. There is no competition. Akal Purakh Waheguru is fearless. And those that recite the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru, Nirpau Japa, Sagalapau Mita. That those that recite the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru, they start to take on these qualities. The quality of the truth. The quality of not having any fear. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji says that Akal Purakh Waheguru is fearless. Akal Purakh Waheguru has no fear.
Nirvair.
And Sadhguru Sahib Ji then goes on to say that Akal Purakh Waheguru has no vair. That Parameswar has no vair with anyone. Akal Purakh Waheguru has no enemies to have any vair. And sometimes we may attribute Akal Purakh Waheguru, God, as being someone who carries out bad action. Sometimes if something bad happens, we may blame God or look to God that you've done that almost out of vair. And that's because of the way our minds are programmed. The way that we live our life, we try to attribute our understanding of the world and claim that that is the same as Akal Purakh Waheguru's existence. But we can't do that because we have such a small understanding of such a small part of creation. But Akal Purakh Waheguru has no vair. That whatever happens within this world isn't out of any kind of animosity of God giving bad to people, but it's all actually upon the basis of karam. And Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji describes through Japji Sahib when asked about karam and how karam are played out. We will hear later in the Bani how Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji then describes to the Siddhs, describing to us so we can understand that Akal Purakh Waheguru has set up a completely fair system. Akal Purakh Waheguru is not fazed if someone worships them or if someone slanders them. Akal Purakh Waheguru has no vair. They have no enemy. And Akal Purakh Waheguru is the complete form of justice because they have a complete fair system that is set up within the world. And that is all part of Akal Purakh Waheguru's hukam, their own khed. That they've set this up, and within this world we have karam, we have actions that we commit, and there's different types of karam. And we will talk and reflect as we go through Japji Sahib Dibani of these different types of karam that Sadhguru Sahib Ji talks about. But Sadhguru Sahib Ji is nirvair. Akal Purakh Waheguru has no enemies, no hatred with anyone.
Akal Murat.
The Akal Purakh Waheguru is the Murat, is the form of being timeless. Kal meaning time. Kal also means death. The Akal Purakh Waheguru is the form of being beyond time, beyond death. The Akal Purakh Waheguru's Murat is completeness, is being complete, separate from any kind of time, any other restrictions, whether that be death, whether that be time. Because anything that is limited by time then must have an end. Because within time we have starts and we have ends. But Akal Purakh Waheguru is beyond time. Their existence is beyond time. So they are the form of eternal existence. Satguru Sahib Ji is describing here. And they are Akal, they are also beyond the form of being beyond death. The Akal Purakh Waheguru is a Junni. The Akal Purakh Waheguru does not come into the world in a June, just like we do. And coming into the world, Sadhguru Sahib Ji describes that there are 8.4 million life forms in this world. And then within those 8.4 million life forms, within the philosophy of Gurmat, it is believed that there are 2.1 million life forms that come in 4 different ways. So in terms of different types of Junya, there are those that are born through kind of like bacteria, and then you have those that are born out of the ground, so like plants and vegetation, those that are born from eggs, and then those that are born from the womb, so just like mammals born from their mother's womb. And Sadhguru Sahib Ji is saying that although there's all these different types of Junes and there's this whole system of existence, of life and death, birth and death, that actually Akal Purakh Waheguru is a Junni. They don't have a June. They're not born into a June like anyone else. And they are Serpang. Because if they are not born into the world like we are, then we could question, well, how does Akal Purakh Waheguru come into existence? If Akal Purakh Waheguru is a Junni, is beyond being born, then how does Akal Purakh Waheguru come into existence? Akal Purakh Waheguru comes into existence because they are Saipang. Saipang meaning Sute Prakash, that they themselves are self-illuminating. Akal Purakh Waheguru does not need anyone else to bring them into existence. They are self-illuminating. They are forever in existence.
Guru Prasad.
Sadhguru Sahib Ji is then saying, Gur Prasad. It's through the Guru's Kirpa, through the Prasad, the blessings of the Guru. So through the blessings of Akal Purakh Waheguru, through the blessings of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, now for us, that we are able to realize Akal Purakh Waheguru. We are able to realize that one Akal Purakh Waheguru whose name is true, who is the form of existence, is the creator, is without hate, is without fear, is beyond time, is the form of the timeless, and is beyond being born and is self-illuminating. All of that is realized. Now, there's one thing saying we've heard something, then there's another thing realizing it. So I've just talked through very briefly some arth of up to Guru Prasad there. And we could say we've heard that and we've realized it. It's two different things. Just saying we've realized something doesn't mean we've realized it. But the blessings and the realization of the form of Akal Purakh Waheguru only happens when the Guru blesses us with that ability to do so. So without Guru Prasad, then we're not able to do anything else. And through the Prasad, the blessing of the Guru, what are we then able to do? Sadhguru Sahib Ji gives us the first hukam in Gurbani. At the start of Japji Sahib here, Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, within Gurbani, sometimes they do the Ustati, the Mangala of Akal Purakh Waheguru, of God. So like here you could say that up to Guru Prasad, Sadhguru Sahib Ji has done a Mangal, has sung the praises of God. They have told us some of the lachan of Akal Purakh Waheguru, some of the qualities. But they've not given a hukam. The first hukam that is given to us, the first order in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Bani comes in the form of Jap, where Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is then directly giving us an order, a message to recite, to repeat the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru. So where Akal Purakh Waheguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji have blessed us with some of the lachans, some of the qualities of Akal Purakh Waheguru. And the reason why they give us these qualities is because as humans, we are physical. And as a physical being, we are trying to understand Akal Purakh Waheguru, who is Nirgun, is beyond the physical, has no form. So to do so, we then have to try and understand that through some kind of physical descriptions or descriptions of Gurbani that are given. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji has told us that Akal Purakh Waheguru is beyond death, is the form of the truth, etc. And all of that helps us to understand the qualities of Waheguru. But how do we fully understand them? Is through the Guru's Kirpa. When the Guru does Kirpa, how do we know the Guru does Kirpa? Because they allow us to jap. When the Guru allows us to recite the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru, then we know that they are blessing us. A Gursikh asked, I think it was Sant Atar Singh Ji, and they said, how do we know if the Guru is pleased with us? How do we know if Waheguru is blessing us? How do we know if we are that Gursikh that has been blessed with the Kirpa of Akal Purakh Waheguru? And they said that if you say Waheguru once, and you feel like saying it again, then that is the blessings of the Guru. That is Guru Prasad. That Guru Prasad, the blessing that we seek for, and sometimes we may think that it's like something extraordinary and something's is gonna be something that cannot be described. It is that as well, but actually the basic starting point of it is to jap, is to recite. Sadhguru Sahib Ji says that by reciting through repetition we are able to understand Akal Purakh Waheguru. And Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji gives that order of repetition of reciting. And like we said before, that's why this Bani in Pratan Tatkare in Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Sroops is known as Jap Nisan. Because the Bani's name comes from here, where Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji gives us the order to repeat the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru.
Ad Sach, Jugad Sach.
Sadhguru Sahib Ji says Ad Kal De Vich. Ad Kal means at the beginning of time. So when time first came into existence. So that means there was something before time. Before time, it was Akal Murat. the form of being beyond time. The timeless Akal Purakh Waheguru was the only thing that existed before time came into existence. But Aad Kal, so when Kal meaning time, Aad Kal meaning the start of time, the beginning of time, when there was just Akal Purakh Waheguru, and then time comes into existence, the only thing that was true then was God, was Waheguru. Because Akal Purakh Waheguru is Saipang, is self-illuminating, did not need a creator to come and create them. And this is something that sometimes is discussed and debated within philosophy or comparative religion about how God can exist. But ultimately, one thing that we have to do on this path of Gurmat, which is really, really difficult, and we actually probably will struggle to do it because our mind has been programmed for however many years that we've been alive, is that we can understand things. That every question has an answer. We get taught all of this kind of stuff from when we're in school, from a young age. But actually, the first thing that you have to realize on this path of becoming or walking on the path of Sikhi is that I cannot and will not be able to understand anything. And it's through that point of that humility that one can start to understand. And until we actually give up our own mat and completely understand that we can't understand anything when it comes to understanding Waheguru, is then we will start to get some understanding. If we think that we will be able to put everything into a logic that fits the world and ticks all the boxes and answers all the questions, we won't be able to do that, because Waheguru is beyond our understanding. The word that they use in English is that Waheguru is transcendent. They are beyond the limits of the human brain and human understanding. So at the Aad Kala, at the start of all time, Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji says that Akal Purakh Waheguru was true, then Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, then throughout the ages. So throughout the different times of Sadguru Sahib Ji, they created in their own Raja, in their own Mauj. Why? Only they know. But they've created a system of the jugs, of Sat Jug, Treta, Dwapar, and now Kal Jug. And these jugs are on a rotation. And this again is opened up throughout the rest of Gurbani, where Sadguru Sahib Ji tells us how these systems work. And Sadguru Sahib Ji also, though, at the same time, tells us not to worry too much about having all of the answers as well. So where we're saying here that Akal Purakh Waheguru is Aad Sach, later on in Japji Sahib we will hear when the Siddhs kept pushing Akal Purakh Waheguru, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, for an answer on when did the world start and how did it start. Because these are things that are seen, questions that are said to be the big questions of life. Sadguru Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, they kept asking them, so when do you believe the world started? How did the world start? And Sadguru Sahib Ji actually ends up saying that only the Creator knows. And later on in Japji Sahib we'll hear how Sadguru Sahib Ji replied, Kavan Suvela Vakt Kavan, Kavan Thet Kavan Var, Kavan Siruti Maha Kavan Jit Hoa Akar, Ved na Paiya Panditi Je Hove Lekh Puran, Vakt na Payo Ka Diya Je Lekhan De Quran, Thet Var na Jogi Jane, Rut Maho na Koi, Ja Karta Srishti Ko Saje, Ape Jane. So that only Akal Purakh Waheguru knows. So sometimes we get these questions are important, but sometimes what also happens is by going in, starting to debate people and trying to put all of this into some kind of logical explanation that we can understand and then go and get other people to understand, we shouldn't expect to be able to do that. But Sadguru Sahib Ji is saying that Akal Purakh Waheguru is Jugad Sach, that they are true throughout the ages. So Sadguru Akal Purakh Waheguru is true at the start of the ages and throughout the ages.
Happy Sach Nanak Hosi Pi.
The Akal Purakh Waheguru is true now. Akal Purakh Waheguru is the only thing that is true now. And why is Akal Purakh Waheguru the only one that is true? Because everything else that exists comes to an end. So everything else that exists is temporary. Although it exists, it doesn't exist forever. So its existence is not true. If something is true, then its existence, its being, is the same now as it was yesterday, is now, and it will be tomorrow, and then forever. What we call in Gurmukhi Tre Kal Sach. So true in the past, true in the present, and true in the future. And the only thing that is true in the past, as they are true now and will forever be true, is Akal Purakh Waheguru. So Sadguru Sahib Ji is saying, happy Sach, the Akal Purakh Waheguru is true now. Nanak hosi pi sach. The Akal Purakh Waheguru will be true forever. So as long as time and existence is about, Akal Purakh Waheguru will also be true. So Sadhguru Sahib Ji has blessed us here with the Mool Mantar, and just to start to reflect on the Bani of Siri Japji Sahib. And where we try and reflect on some of the teachings of Japji Sahib, like we said earlier, let's try to make a commitment to make sure that if we call ourselves the Gursikh, as a minimum we should have Japji Sahib the Bani Kant. And sometimes people will ask, well, how do you get Bani Kant off by heart? The honest answer usually is that you have to recite it again and again. Without repeating it multiple times, you will not learn it off by heart. So to get Gurbani Kant, you have to recite the Bani again and again. And if we look to the greatness of Japji Sahib, of Gursikhs that have recited many Japji Sahibs each day, said Baba Deep Singh would do 110 Japji Sahibs a day. Bhai Mati Das Ji was a Nitnemi of Japji Sahib, doing many Japji Sahibs each day. And when they were sawn in half in Chandni Chowk in Delhi in front of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, their body was cut into two, and they had reached the body of Panch Pravan, Panch Pradhan. The rest of that Japji Sahib, the part, more than about 2/3 of it was done with their body in two complete different separate parts. But the Tuni, the Awaj, the sound of Japji Sahib continued because they had commanded that Japji Sahib. Not only did they recite it each day, but they implemented it. And through Japji Sahib, we hear a very simple but unique formula almost that Guruji gives us to be able to make our Janam, our life, safala. And if we look and try and implement this within our lives, it's very, very basic. It sounds very basic. It's really simple. Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave us everything in such a simple format. We complicate it and end up then losing the essence. Sadhguru Sahib Ji says, Sunaya manya man kita pao. That to be successful when reading Gurbani, when reciting Gurbani on this journey of life, is to first listen to the words of Gurbani. What is Guruji saying to us? So we have to actually listen to that with our physical ears first and then internal ears, but we have to listen to the Gurbani. We have to listen to the Kirtan, the Katha, the Path, whatever it is, the Vaheguru Simran, we listen to it. And then we have to believe in it. Without that belief, without the Shraddha, then we will not be able to get the knowledge. Will not be able to understand the messages. Shraddha Vanang Labding Gyanang. That those people that have Shraddha, they are the ones that are able to unlock the Gyan, the knowledge. So we have to listen, then we have to man, we have to believe. And then man, kita pao, then we have to actually do it with love. And to do it means to nadyasan karna, to implement. So if Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us in Mool Mantar, the Akal Purakh Waheguru is nirpao, nirvair, but yet we have a vair with everyone, but we're also scared of everyone, then we're not actually practicing that, because Sadhguru Sahib Ji tells us that this Gurbani has the kala to be able to make us the same as Gurbani, to make us like Akal Purakh Waheguru. It gives us those Devi gunas. And Sadhguru Sahib Ji says that if we have this Gurbani as our support in this life and recite the Gurbani of Akal Purakh Waheguru, that we will get endless and countless blessings. There are many Gursikhs, Gurmukhs over time who have done countless jobs of Mool Mantar and attained great levels of bhakti. So anything that we do in terms of reciting the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru is all worthwhile. Sadhguru Sahib Ji says that Akal Purakh Waheguru, til matravi, even the smallest amount that we do, Akal Purakh Waheguru does not keep, that we will get the fall of that. And like we said earlier at the start, joy che soi phal pave, that whatever we desire, that is then given to us through the blessings of the Sadh Sangat, through repeating and contemplating the name of Akal Purakh Waheguru. So this week we will do up to there of the Mool Mantar. From next week we will continue then to go through Japji Sahib and this conversation between Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji and the Siddhs, as how they ask questions to Guruji and how Guruji then answers their questions and answers us and gives us the knowledge to be able to become one with Akal Purakh Waheguru and realize Akal Purakh Waheguru. Because like we said at the start, this Bani blesses us with Brahm Gyan. So we will recite Mool Mantar all together and then we will say Fateh. Ek Oankar ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।